Yeah, guys, Jet, Spitzer Roll, No Mr. Fantasy, and
hang on. Let me mess up.
oh,
We're Raggy.
okay.
You also gotta put your freaking microphone up to your mouth.
Me?
Yeah, you look
Even
how
closer?
far away it is, bro.
Well, I know. I didn't realize that I needed to have it like right here.
It's a dynamic, bro, not a condenser.
I mean, that's fair. How's that? Is that better?
Yes.
What is going on, Houston? This is Jet Boyer here on Athletically Declined. We want to give a special shout out to our sponsors of the stream, our boys at Sold Out here in League City, Texas. Also, want to give a special shout out to the best gym in the Friendswood, League City area, The Sanctuary. If you guys are looking to achieve your fitness goals this year, look no further than The Sanctuary. Also, too, special shout out to Throat Apparel, Tilt. Guys, fit us out. They have got the best shirts here in the local Houston area. You guys want to check them out. All the links are on our website at hlx.com/athletically declined. Appreciate you guys. And we're back. Athletically Declined on ESPN 97.5. Jet Boyer, Spencer, rolling on Mr. Fantasy. A little different setup. Got some whistles, not all the bells. Do you like that?
No, I don't.
You don't like that? Okay,
No.
well. Anyway, live from the 80s studio inside of Sold Out, brand new facility we got rolling here. Got a few things piece by piece as we're recording this. We got the chairs showing up tomorrow, so we won't be in these chairs that we're in now. But hey, you gotta work with what you got. Got the nice little arms. This is really nice, like being able to talk with my hands again, like without worrying about.
I have a computer.
Yeah, look at that. It's pretty cool.
Yeah,
Anyway.
good vibes. Nothing but good vibes here at Sold Out/AD Studios.
Yeah, and we've got the banner up. It says a little backdrop because behind it is paint swatches that we were trying to see what color purple we were going to put. So, yeah.
Yeah,
Fun
I think
things.
week by week, since we're going to start shooting them here every week by week, y'all will see this grow more and more into a really cool studio. So you have that to look forward to as well.
I think by next week, though, we should have like a bulk of everything in, though. We'll see, just depending on some things.
Well, you know what else is starting next week?
Tell me.
Well, not necessarily starting next week, but we are continuing NBA preseason. We are just a few weeks away from the regular season kicking off for the NBA. I'm very excited for our Houston Rockets this year. After what was a very encouraging 41-41 debut season for Ime Udoka, the expectations have risen a little bit. I know we talked on our last video.
Yep.
You've got them winning 50. How many?
50 games.
50 games. I have them at 45. ESPN dropped their predictions, and they have them as a play-in team as the 10 seed at 44-38. So right around where I'm at. Today we're going to be doing some predictions.
Yep.
Right? We're going to be listing out our picks for team defensive player of the year, most improved player, sixth man of the year, and the team MVP. Okay? So, Jet, I think it'd be best if we just start. Let's go with who we think is going to be the sixth man of the year.
Ooh, okay. And I think we're going to agree on this one, actually. We kind of like alluded to this in our first video, but I think what we've seen so far in preseason, I mean, let's like make no mistake about it, by the way, like that Thunder win was a good win. It's preseason, but they had their starters out there.
Yeah, that's right. Good wins in the preseason. We love those.
Yeah, I mean, it's just like to be able to actually see them up against some competition. I don't think we are expecting anybody to go like full 100%.
Right.
But it's still like, we're not didn't see all the scrubs out there, the entire game.
Yeah, all of the main contributors got a good amount of run in that game for sure. I liked what I saw.
Yeah, I mean, and for me, it just continues to kind of like, I guess, expound upon what my pick is, which is Cam Whitmore. I think Cam, he seems more comfortable, and I like his aggressive instincts that he's showing. Like he's not afraid to go down there and body. Like he's showing like, I guess, like the growth that you want to see going into year two, especially against like good, talent. Like, I mean, it just proves to me more and more why I think that he's going to be your sixth man of the year. And I think he's showing those intangibles that he could potentially run a second team. And I think, I mean, obviously that's what you want in a six man.
Yeah, he could be the engine of the bench unit. I think for me, I agree with you. He is my pick for sixth man of the year. My only caveat would be it's just going to depend on what they do with Amin Thompson. I think if Amin Thompson is not in the starting lineup, which is what I'm predicting will happen, Amin Thompson could very well end up being the sixth man of the year, not just for the Rockets, for the entire NBA. Amin Thompson has that level of potential if he continues to take steps forward, which we all expect him to take a second year leap forward and have a really significant role. I want him starting at the 3 personally. But if they do continue to go with Dylan Brooks there, I think Amin Thompson would be my pick there. But for now, I will go with Cam Whitmore for my sixth man.
And another thing I want to add there, you're talking about Amin Thompson, one of the voices of the Rockets, Ryan Hollins, he was on Locked On Rockets with Jackson, and one thing that he talked about that I really liked was he's like, there's very few people that he was like that he would say this about, and quoting him, that he was like, I don't really care if he's like got his jump shot or not. Like, he believes that he can be an integral part and be just as effective just with defensive like his defensive IQ, his ability to distribute the ball, and just being like a pure basketball IQ guy on the floor, being a real general. And he kind of compared him to Jason Kidd. And I like that because he was like, you look at Kidd and like, he's in the top, I can't remember what it was, like I think it's top 10, like in 3 points made or percentages. It's one of those, but like it came later. But in the beginning, it didn't matter if he was hitting it or not. Like Jason Kidd on the floor as a general, as a distributor of the ball was almost.
Yeah. So I just want to disagree with you here. I don't think Amin Thompson's future is as a facilitator. I think he is going to be best as a wing, as playing him at the 3, maybe times at the 2, where he can be a secondary ball handler. But I don't think I want him touching the point guard. So I think if he can bring all the facets of his game together, his defending, his rebounding, his distributing, his slashing, which I think is going to be great as a rim runner.
10 pounds of muscle, by the way, though.
Absolutely. You're right. We don't need to see a big improvement in shooting from him.
Correct.
Now, make no mistake, he was bad as a shooter last year, but if he takes steps forward in all these other departments, he would then become my pick for the next award we're going to talk about, is the most improved player award. I think the year 1 to year 2 jump that we're going to see from Amin Thompson, I think it's going to vault him into potential like household name amongst NBA fans. Amin Thompson really could end up being that good of a player if he continues to develop. And by all indications, he is someone who's going to get in the gym and he's going to work. I see him working out his shot all year long, which again, in the offseason, everyone can shoot.
Right.
And that's fine. But I still like to see that he is working on that. Like you mentioned, he's been in the gym. He's added some muscle.
Yeah.
Amin Thompson.
And his brother was like coming out bigger than him. That was like one of the things like between the two. I mean, he's closing that gap as far as like from a weight standpoint. Like if he keeps this up,
I don't think they were actually that far off in weight.
As far as like how they're built,
they're pretty much twins, bro. I mean, they're like, let's see. Auxerre is 6'6", 218. And Amin is 6'7", 200. So
20-pound difference almost.
Yeah, but we're talking about a little bit, like slightly, pretty much the same build. But either way, I think seeing muscle put on that body is going to look a lot better. And you can see it even in the Instagram posts.
Another thing too, like just kind of talking to your ball handling, it's good to at least see that in this preseason that Ime is giving him some reps at having more like on ball like responsibility. And so just to kind of, I guess, use him as that Swiss Army knife that, we think that he can be at times.
Yeah.
So
I just don't want to see him taking too many reps at point guard. I want to see him. I want to see a Fred VanVleet, a Reed Shepherd, a Aaron Holiday on the court at all times. I don't want Amen Thompson being my primary ball handler. So was he your pick also for most improved player?
No, actually, my pick for most improved player is give me Tari Eason.
Tari Eason, okay.
Yes, that is, I always say his name wrong, Tari. My fault, Tari. But I like Tari coming out. I always thought Tari was kind of like this sleeper on this team. Obviously, we've seen flashes of it, but I mean, obviously, Ime coming in, we continue to add pieces. I feel like he's kind of got lost in the shuffle at dealing with injuries. But
only played 22 games last year.
Yeah, but coming in, I just really like a healthy Eason on this team, and I really feel like that he can be a guy that when we look back at go, okay, like that's a big jump from what we've seen. And again, dealing with the injuries, as you said, only playing 22 games, I think that's going to be more noticeable, right?
Yeah.
Because it's his absence is definitely noticed because we haven't seen him play.
Yeah, no, I love the pick. I think Tari Eason, if we can simply just keep him healthy for half the season, that's a massive improvement. And when he's been healthy, he has been sensational. He's been that gritty Ime Udoka type of player that fits the culture perfectly. So I'm excited to see a full year of Tari Eason. All right, speaking of things that Tari Eason is going to contribute to, that defense. We had a top 10 unit for the Rockets last year. Tyler, who is your pick for Defensive Player of the Year for the Rockets?
So this is where I'm going to say Amen Thompson.
Okay.
I like Amen's defensive playmaking ability. I think that him adding that weight, I think him getting another year. Again, you talked about like how much that, he's definitely been working on his game. I think he's going to continue that. I think Ime is the perfect person to be behind him, mentoring and all of that. You've got good defensive players too on that team that to learn from with Dylan Brooks, with even Jabari and guys like that. I think that this is kind of the perfect storm for him. If he continues to put that work in and just continues to take the step forward that we think he can, I think that's where Amen's really going to shine.
Yeah. No, he would be my pick. He is a 99th percentile athlete in the NBA, and I think if he continues to develop, he's going to be an absolute force on defense.
Yeah.
But just to be a little different from you, I'm going to offer a different name. You mentioned him, though. I am so looking forward to year number 3 for Jabari Smith.
Yep.
And he is my pick for the Rockets Defensive Player of the Year because I think he's going to be so crucial playing the 4, playing next to Şengün, who we know can struggle a bit at times against those bigger bodied centers.
Yep.
I think Jabari Smith is going to be vital for what the Rockets want to do, covering up Şengün's deficiencies on defense. Jabari Smith is going to be massive for that. And I also like his ability. He can break it down if he gets switched onto a guard. Right. I feel comfortable with him there. I think he's going to take a step forward. He's huge length. I think he's going to take a step forward in the rebounding department. And I also want to see block numbers go up, steal number gets up. But I think ultimately Jabari Smith is going to prove to be one of the most, if not the most important pieces for this Rockets defense.
Yeah,
which,
I agree.
if they want to continue to take a step forward, the offense has to meet up with the defense. So we need some continuity from last year with how great that defense was. And you kind of forget about it being that they missed the playoffs, but they really did have a very, very good defensive unit.
Very scrappy team.
That's the Ime Udoka way.
Yep.
He gets it done. His teams know how to play defense.
Another thing to note too with Ime is people forget, like with everything that went on with Boston, this is actually the first time that he's coming back as a coach in a year 2.
Yeah.
So that is something to also kind of, it's going to be exciting because, okay, what would you have changed if you would have been at Boston year 2? And we're going to be able to see what obviously like that would look like a year under his belt to be able to really process what he sees from these young guys and what we got from last year to see how he can translate that over into a step forward for each individual player and the team as a whole, right? But with Ime coming into a full season now after, a full season last year coming into through preseason to the beginning of the season. It's going to be interesting to just see the adjustments that are made. He knows these guys now. and getting familiar, more continuity, and these guys know the system. It's not teaching a system anymore. It's expounding on one. It's going from a more vanilla style of offense, right, in schemes and plays, to now he can get more fancy. So it's just going to be really cool, like this year, to see him really open up things for everybody.
And that brings us to the big one. The MVP. Who is going to be the MVP for the Rockets in the 24-25 season?
So I think that there is a possibility for two, but I'm going to go with one that, dude, Jabari. Give me Jabari.
Wow.
I think Jabari has a massive opportunity, because I think that going into this, a lot of people are going to really focus on Şengün. And I think because of that, Jabari is going to have opportunities to really exploit that. And again, we know how good he is on defense. And taking a step forward there, when I think MVP, I'm thinking all around. Like, you're scoring and you're putting up the numbers that you need to in providing that defensive playmaking ability on the other side of the court too. So from an all-around standpoint, give me Jabari to do that. Again, Şengün could very much be here easily, but I just love the ceiling of Jabari Smith. And I love that, like, coming into another year, taking a step forward and what that can look like. I just really believe that Jabari Smith eventually becomes the engine. As good as Şengün is, and as good as Şengün can be, I just think there is a world where two things can be true, as we like to say.
Okay, I'm going to hit you with something then. Last year, Jabari Smith in 76 games played 32 minutes a game and averaged just under 14 points a game. Let's say he gets a little bit more minutes, but similar usage. Where do you see his points ending up this year?
Ooh, I'm going to be a little generous here, because I believe it. Give me 21 and a half.
Oh my God, this guy.
21 and a half.
Hey, I'm loving the Kool-Aid you are drinking right now, brother.
I really believe. Here's the thing, though. I was a massive Jabari fan when he was at Auburn.
Me too. He was my number one prospect that year. I liked him over Banchero and Holmgren.
I did as well. And again, I think that when it comes down to like how things played out the first year, these players develop in different time frames. And I think that this has been a perfect situation with Ime being paired with Jabari. And I again, learning a new way of going about, right? A new system, learning new lingo. Like one thing I've heard before is like, you may have like a vet guy like Van Fleet, and he's may like see something on the defense and call something out with a certain phrase, right? We in football, like we call it the cadence as a quarterback, right? They have different cadences, but it may mean the same thing. There's a lot of that goes into basketball as well that people don't realize. And I think that all of that stuff, as these young guys, it's going to take time to really process that, right? Coming out of a full year of that, you're now more comfortable with certain things. Again, like we talked about with Ime, being able to open up the offense a little bit more and being able to do more things. I think that's going to open up more opportunities for Jabari. And we haven't seen Jabari really hit the three-pointer at the clip that we saw him hit it at Auburn. So when that actually really comes together, like I think it will this year, I don't think 21 and a half is that outrageous. If all these things come to fruition.
Whew, man, I would love to live in a world where Jabari Smith averages 21 points for the Rockets. That's pretty ambitious, but I hope you're right. My pick, I could have gone with Jalen Green. We know what he's capable of. We saw it in the month of March. Alperen Şengün very well may end up being a representative of the Houston Rockets in the All-Star game this upcoming year. But my pick for MVP is going to be the veteran that always seems to be forgotten about, Fred VanVleet. Everyone has already seemed to have written him off. Yeah. I've already seen Rockets fans including him in the trade machine to get a superstar. I am locked in on Fred VanVleet as this team's starting point guard for the entire season. And I'll even do you one further. I want him back the next season, assuming that his play stabilizes as it was last year, because that's what's going to be so important. I mentioned it a little bit earlier. Fred VanVleet is a true point guard. And he's one that we don't really have someone else on the roster that can replicate his skill set. We're hoping that Reed Shepherd can maybe develop into a point guard. I personally see his skills more as a undersized combo guard that plays more at the 2, especially in lineups when him and Van Vliet are on the court together. And when you don't have Van Vliet on the court as your primary ball handler, now we're looking at guys like Reed Shepherd. We're looking at guys like Aaron Holiday, guys who are either inexperienced as the primary ball handler for a team, or, it's Aaron Holiday, someone that's, making hardly above the league minimum, and he's really just there for depth. Fred Van Vliet, what he did last year, what he brings as a shooter, as a distributor, he led the NBA in assists for a good portion of the season to start the year last year. I think Fred Van Vliet is going to be very, very integral to making sure that the Rockets continue to develop. These young guys continue to stay within the offense, and they stay bought in on the culture. It's going to start with the veteran leadership of Fred Van Vliet, and he is my MVP for that reason.
Yeah, and I agree. I think one thing too that is forgotten about is how important that point guard, that obviously facilitator position is, especially for a young team, right? That's a lot of responsibility. There's a lot that goes into being that court general, if you will. And Van Vliet is about as consistent as it comes for a career. I mean, to your point, he is a guy capable of a double-double every night.
Yeah.
It's not far-fetched. And because of that reason,
get him in those prize picks parlays. You're going to like him.
Yeah. It sounds like a broken record at this point. Opening up the offense will do nothing but kind of, expound upon that, right? And just give more opportunity for him to score a 12, 15. We've seen him put up 20 and plus before in 10. I don't think that's outrageous.
Yeah, no. So let us know in the comments, who are your picks for Defensive Player of the Year, Most Improved Player, Sixth Man of the Year, and MVP for the Rockets in the 2024-2025 season? Jet, anything else from you?
Guys, make sure November 3rd, 11 a.m., right here, 2800 West Main Street, Suite Number B. That's the address.
Number B.
We're in the corner. The Sold Out in AD Studio grand opening. We'll be doing a full studio reveal, and it'll be the first actual open day to the public for the store. We'll be doing 200 pairs of shoes at $100. I got that mixed up. It's going to be a lot of big things. Going to have some special guests. Going to have a lot of cool things going on. We'll have some shows running. Make sure you guys stop by, say what's up. It's going to be really cool. It'll be a lot of fun.
All righty. Well, until next week, this has been Athletically Declined. We'll talk to y'all next time.
Later.
Y'all take it easy.
You made it till the end of the video. We appreciate you continuing to support us by showing your love and watching the video. If you haven't, please make sure you like the video below so that we know that we did a good job. And if we didn't, there's a comment section for a reason. Let us know what you didn't like, or if you have some suggestions. We are always open to listening to you guys because we are by the fans for the fans. And if you would please do us a favor and go to our YouTube channel at Athletically Declined Sports and hit us a subscribe. You guys can check out all the shows that we have going on during the week. Appreciate you guys. We'll see y'all in the next video.